Good morning, Mike and Arlen, our Philippine journey. Thanks so much for dropping by. Thank you, subscribers, viewers, members, um, everybody. We really appreciate it. We appreciate you keeping this channel in your thoughts. Why are Americans so concerned? Why are they always talking about their 401ks, their investments, their retirement, Social Security, etc.? Well, you know something? The answers to that are pretty simple, but maybe difficult to understand for some. So let's talk about that.
Why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, cause I got no chance, no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough.
All right. So, it's been busy. We haven't been putting out videos all the time, one or two a week. That's the best we have time for. We've just got a lot going on, preparing for a lot of things that are coming up. With that being said, I've seen several bloggers, that's the best word to use, talking about how obsessed Americans are about the stock market, how obsessed they are about their Social Security, how obsessed they are about their 401ks and their savings and how much money they have. In some of those instances, and I don't blame these vloggers for putting that out as a topic because it's true. We are obsessed. I have an issue here. Let's see. Whoa, that's not going to work. We'll just leave it like that for now. All right. I have an issue. I'm sorry. I don't have an issue with it because it is true. We are obsessed with it. But I think some of these vloggers, especially those that aren't American, may not fully comprehend, understand how the system totally works and why it's important to us as American expats. I think people should recognize that retirement and its corresponding funds, I guess is the best word for it, are different in different countries and different things that transpire. So let's just first off, let's get that out of the way. The biggest reason that I'm obsessed and that others might be obsessed with it is because it's our money. Unlike other countries, putting away money into Social Security in the US is mandatory. Either you're going to put it away, all right, or the company you work for is going to put it away. And generally, when I say the company you work for, I mean the company you own is going to put it away. And if you own it, you're putting away your part of Social Security and you're putting away the company's part. The money that we put into Social Security, and I'll cover retirement plans in just a second, but the money that we put into Social Security as Americans comes directly out of our W-2 gross income. So in other words, if I make $100, I'm going to put away X percent. It's going to be taken from my paycheck, pre-tax, before taxes, taken from my paycheck before I get it. And then the company is going to put away its matching percentage. Now, if I own the company, I'm still putting it away. But you need to look at it from a point of view, a different point of view. You see, if that money wasn't taken away, I would have been able to invest that money how I wanted to invest it. And with returns far greater than Social Security has given me. Number two, the next most important part is if I own the company, that doubles. Now, most of us, most of you did not own the company, and the company put away money and took money, and it's not the company that took it, it's the government that took it. And with that being said, it means that that's your money. So, are Americans concerned about what happens with their money? I think anybody from anywhere is concerned with it. Another factor, we don't have old age pensions like certain countries do. If you were born in the US, if you're a US citizen, born and bred and lived in the US all of your life, let's say for 60 some odd years, you've lived in your life, you're ready for Social Security, but you never held a job, you never had any money, guess what? You're not eligible. You don't get Social Security. So it's not free. Now, there are programs like SSI, okay, where there is some small amount of government funding for, people of lesser means. That's the best way I could put it. That takes place. The government does, but it's certainly not enough to consider living in retirement off of. Now, when it comes to 401ks, when it comes to Roths, when it comes to SEPs, when it comes to defined benefit plans, the numbers just completely, they're there. All right. I mean, the plans are out there, but all of that is money that we put in. In other words, if I want to contribute to my 401k, if I am a working individual and my company has a 401k with some sort of matching funds, all right, where the company puts money away in a percentage to what I put away, and it has a cap, all right? Well, guess what? That's still my money. That money is something that I could have, just like Social Security. I forgot to mention this. If I didn't have to put money into Social Security and the company didn't have to have put money into Social Security, that would have been money in my pocket to do what I wanted with, all right, to invest it in the way. Now, would I have been wise enough to invest it? Or would I have been a typical American and lived to my means, not lived outside my means? All right. Americans are notorious for spending way more than what they need to spend. I mean, Americans are the largest consumers in the world. You can look it up, doesn't matter. Any kind of research will show you we far exceed every country in the world for consumer spending. And we're terrible about it. Absolutely terrible. I could have done a much better job. Thank God I made what I made. All right. And it allowed me to save and do the things that I've done, but I could have done a much better job. That's for sure. It wasn't until I got older that I recognized, hey, I need to be more conservative about certain things. The next thing is these 401ks, defined benefit plans. I mean, they run the gamut. But here's what happens. There are a few DBs, defined benefit plans, DBPs, where companies guarantee a return. Otherwise, 401ks, that money is going into whatever direction you've asked a management company. Some of them are self-directed, absolutely, but that's always at risk. It can be at risk, and none of it is insured like the money in the bank. And in the U.S., the rates, the levels for what you can insure is much higher than in the Philippines. But it's not limitless. In addition to that, there are laws that prohibit normal folks from putting away large amounts of money into their 401ks or their Roths or their defined benefit plans. There are what's called ERISA laws, ERISA, ERISA laws, and they're complicated. I used to know about, enough conversationally to hold my own about it, but it's something I've been out of for 15 years. So they've changed, I'm sure, considerably. The point with all of this is we watch it and we're obsessed with it because I can't buy food without it. I can't pay for medicine without it. I can't put a roof over my head without it. And then secondarily to that, what about a legacy? Do you know my daughter can inherit my 401k? My wife can inherit her 401k. All right. You talk about, the Filipinas and this and that. Well, they're not all the same. They're really and truly not. First off, there are very good, financially responsible Filipinas. There are educated Filipinas, and my wife is both. She understands, and she is very, very good about it. With that being said, there's a lot of reasons why we're obsessed with it. We're obsessed with it because another reason is at a certain age, we have to take, it is mandatory that we have to take RMDs, they're your distributions from your 401k. You have to take those distributions. All right. There are rules about how much you have to take. And that's the way it is. You can't just let it sit there until, you're 100 years old. I think it's 72 or 73, if I remember correctly. That's when you have to take these distributions. Why are we obsessed? Because we plan. It is ingrained upon Americans that do not depend on Social Security to support you. It is a supplement. And quite frankly, it's on shaky ground. I don't think it'll ever go away. I don't think it may go away, but it'll be slowly phased out. Those of us that are participating or did participate, okay? I don't think we have anything to worry. I don't want to put any fear mongering out there. But I do believe that certain people who talk about it do not recognize that's our money. That's money we earn. There's no such thing as free money in the U.S. until you drop below a certain threshold. And at that threshold, then there are social safety nets. There's WIC, there's SNAP, there's welfare, there's Medicaid, there's all kinds of things that the government does to help. But even in combination with all of those things, it's not a very livable situation. It's very difficult to survive on just that. And we see that. There are vloggers out there that will tell you, I don't make squat. I get nothing. And so what little I get, I'm able to live here in the Philippines. Now, I don't blame these vloggers for this. I really don't. I don't think they recognize it's our money. Now, in other countries, they have self-funded retirement too. I don't know how it works. I can't speak to it, but I can speak to the American side. I can speak to the fact that we put every dollar that's out there. So let's say I put money into my 401k, and then let's say I save money, and then I invest money. And if I'm not watching where my investments go, how will that impact my retirement? How will that impact how much money I get to bring back to my own bank and then distribute back to my Philippine bank. It's really simple. I don't understand why they don't understand why we are so obsessed with our money, because they say it right there in their sentence. Americans are so obsessed with their money. Well, yeah, you know something? Some Americans are arrogant about it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Some Americans flaunt it crazily. No ifs, ands, or buts. But so are some Brits. I mean, if you take a look at, say, one of the more affluent folks here in Angeles City, Mark Savino, he's got a Ferrari, actually a Lamborghini. All right. He's got, multiple real estate ventures. You know, he can't help it, but everybody knows he has a lot of money, and he's British. He's a Brit. Okay. He and his best friend are Brits, and they built Candy. So, what you consider flaunting it, I don't know. I have no idea. All right. He has a race car. He races professionally around the Philippines. I mean, it costs a fortune to get a racing team and keep it running. And more power to him. He's enjoying the fruits of his labor. And that's great. And isn't that part of retirement? And I don't think I would even consider Mark retired. He's still building, he's still expanding. Nah, he's working. Okay. With all of that being said, why are Americans? Because some people don't understand. And then they miss their entire point, their entire point by their simple statement. Why are they obsessed with their money? Why are they obsessed with their 401ks? Because it is our money. Wouldn't you be obsessed with your money? Aren't you cautious? I mean, if you're British or Australian or German or whatever, and you're listening to this, aren't you watching your money? Don't you keep track of it? Don't you try and understand how to make sure it's secure and that you're not doing things a different way, the wrong way, or a bad way, or whatever? I just don't know. In the comments, let us know how you feel about it. If you're an American, do you watch your bank accounts? Do you watch your investment accounts? Are you careful about where they are? In fact, I have actually an appointment later this week with my investment broker, and I know what he wants. All right, he wants to talk to me about maybe some reallocation of how my investment is. So, I don't invest in individual stocks. I learned my lesson. I lost enough in 2008. Not for me. All right. But I am in a portfolio of stocks. Okay. And maybe I should be in a different portfolio. I don't know. I will listen to what he says. I will think about it, and then I will take action. Either way, my point is very simple. I think everybody should be obsessed with their money. I think it should be one of the primary things you think about routinely. If you disagree, let us know. Tell us why you shouldn't care. If you do agree, tell us, yes, I do. I am very obsessed with my money. I watch the market. I do this. I do that. I'm very cautious of it. And then let's go from there. All right. Otherwise, thanks so much for dropping in. Please do subscribe, hit that thumbs up. It's always appreciated. Have a great day.